So I don't know if you remember, but the last time I did this, I glued it right on top of here, and it was a pain because I didn't have the craft paper that I normally use. Got to roll. I'm not doing that again. That was retarded on my part. So now let's see, hopefully that just is nice and... Yep, perfect. So that should probably, I think, be really good. So that's it. You can see on here where some of the nail holes went from the old pallet wood. I put the glue on there and sawdust, not to really fill the hole so much, just to make sure that when it's after it's sanded down, there's not going to be any slivers sticking out. And I'll probably make sure that it's smooth out, and I'll sand a little deeper in these holes. But that's all it was there for. Same with this here, just to fill it all in so there's nothing really sticking out and rough. And then I'll show you the back side. So this is kind of ugly, but that's alright. Nobody's ever going to look at the back of it anyway. And this is the piece of paper. Still left that on the table saw, but that's easy to get off. And that's what that's going to look like. And I'll clean all this up, and then we'll get to the next stage. So now the fun part. This is the math part, making all the measurements, making sure it all fits good. So to give you an idea of what things are going to look like, this is how it's going to go. This is going to be the top of the headboard, and it's going to be curved. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to bring this down a bit. And you see, this is where I messed up, and I'll explain to you why. So I measured this 24, and this gap in here is going to be 24. But if I do that, and that's the top, and that's the top, there won't be any room for a curve. I have to curve it like this. So that means I got to bring this down further, let's say to here, which means that my gap now isn't going to work. So therein lies where I messed up. Not a big deal. I just got to redo a couple of these pieces, but math is not my strong suit. So I think this is kind of how I'm going to do it. Just kind of like this. I'll kind of come across these two here, and these two top pieces, and just do a curve. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure it out and try to figure out the exact width I need, and make sure that the way I measured this, the mattress for the bed won't go through the gap between here and the bottom. So that's what I'm going to figure out now. Okay, so what I've got is I'm going to do the rounded part of the headboard. Just got it all set up. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. So that's my router. I've got a tiny little bit in there, and I've got that little piece that's going to be the pivot point. So I'm sitting on a sheet of plywood, as you can tell, so everything's all nice and flat. And I measured it all out, so now when this here goes back and forth, it's going to follow the curve to the point right there, all the way to the top and all the way to the other side. Now, because this here part was tapered, on the router. I had to notch it underneath there to kind of make it fit. So with any luck, this is going to work out, and I'm going to have a nice cut when I'm done with it. So I'm going to do it in a few passes. I'm going to go through a couple of times. Not going to do it all at once, just to maybe 4 or 5. I'll see how it goes. Once it's all the way through, I'll be done. And so there it is, the semicircle. Cut out pretty good. Now I'm just going to cut along here, go out here, and then that should be the headboard. And I'm going to get that done right now. Okay, so we got the headboard cut out. You saw that. Looks actually pretty good. I'm quite happy with it. So what I'm going to do now, so if you look at this piece, this is going to be the bottom legs. You can see there's that gap here. What I'm going to do is, I don't like that. I think that's going to be probably taking too much off when I go to plane it when it's all glued up. So what I'm going to do is, I had these strips from another project. They're about that same thickness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just glue these in between, top and bottom. And now you can see if that's in there, that's going to be pretty close to good. So that'll take up all of that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on the back side here so that this gap is gone and bottom. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Just going to measure them out and get them ready to go. I think it would be kind of neat having a bit of a contrast with the two different colors of wood. So that's going to be it. That's going to be hopefully nice and square. I mean, I know these sides are going to be square down here, so we'll all plane this way and this way. And hopefully it's good. Okay, I've got all the legs planed. As you can see, it turned out pretty good. Didn't need to show you that. Pretty sure everybody can run a planer. So if you look here, that's all smooth, and it'll be all smoothed out more so by the time after I sand it. Same with down here. Now, I know somebody might be asking, why didn't you put the same type of wood in there, make it look a little better? I don't know. Maybe you won't be asking, I have no idea. But I kind of like the idea of having contrasting colors. I always kind of have. I mean, the whole palette, or the whole point of this was to use kind of reclaimed wood and not use new pieces. You know, with the headboard looking like this, I figured, you know, it would be nice to kind of have the legs looking, you know, a little bit different. And besides, this will be underneath anyways, and it's not going to be seen. So yeah, that's why I use that, and I had some spare pieces of whatever type of wood that is laying around, and that's what I used. So we're on to the sanding part of the bed today. The general way I've always done it, been taught to do it, that I remember from high school shop class, is 80, 120, 220, and then 320 if you're so inclined. With this stuff, I'm probably just going to start with 120 and go to 220 because I don't think it really needs. It's not like I'm doing a really fine job here. It's just a bed frame. Other projects I definitely have done 80, 120, 220, 320. It also depends how rough the wood is when you're starting. The stuff's pretty smooth. So that's what we're going to do. And I'll get it set up and we'll film that. Okay, well today, cleaned up the headboard. I already did the dry fit, so I know it's gonna fit okay. I just gotta glue it up, clamp it all together, and it should be good. I'm not gonna be using any nails or screws or anything like that, just gonna be glue and pressure fit. It's gonna be a bit of a pain because this is curved a little bit. So it's gonna be a bit of a, work to get it into the grooves that I made for it, but we'll get her. In case you didn't know, I hate glue ups. I like it because it's kind of the final part of the project, but I hate it because it's always a pain and you're always feeling rushed, or at least I am, and anyways, that's what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, always. I think if I get that in there, it'll be okay, but maybe. Probably not though, knowing the way things go for me, you know what this is? Ha! Of course not. So, let's just see where we are. Hopefully, square. 50 56 and 7/8. So that's 50. Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So that's one headboard. The other one will be a little easier than this one. So I'm going to take this off, stand it up, and just do some measurements to make sure it's all square and good. And then we'll do the other one. We'll do the footboard. So this is how it all turned out when we saw that by Finishes. So since both of these pieces of wood came from the same, both these legs get the same piece of wood, I want these facing out because they both have the same kind of pattern on them. So we're going to be doing a footboard like this. Now this one's not going to be clamped. What I'm going to be doing with this one is I'm going to be using screws. And that should hopefully get it a lot better, but we'll see. And tight there. And that there is the finished footboard. So you'll see that glue inside of there. That's one thing you want to get off, because glue doesn't stain very well. Even though this is stainable glue and blah blah blah, it really does not. This is on the outside, so I want to make it presentable. So what you do, you wait for a bit of a skin to form on it, and then you just peel it off. So these are the runners that the bed frame is going to sit on in the mattress. So I have to get 3 pieces. I notched it out at the end there, as you can see, for the bracket that's going to go and hold these in place. I'll get to that in the next little bit. So this is going to be kind of the same as the footboard. I'm just going to drill, since this isn't really precision, doesn't need to be anything crazy, I'm going to drill on this piece. I'll do 4 screws, 2 in here, 4 in here. I'm going to drill the 3/4 or the 3/16 holes through the pilot holes, line it up, and then just drill the little other mini pilot holes in, glue it in place, and just screw it down. So pretty straightforward, kind of thing, on and on. So that'll be it for this. Side rails are done. Headboard and footboard are done. So now we'll let it all cure and get the brackets on stain, and then hopefully she's good to go. Okay, so this is all glued up, almost ready to go. But then I discovered that I messed up. So I want the mattress 11 inches off the floor. The bottom of the mattress, 11 inches off the floor. That's where I measured it to be. That's where it needs to be. And I measured the footboard to the bottom of that little block there, and it was 8 inches. So you go from this edge here, the bottom of here, which is the bottom of the footboard. Here is 3 inches. That's 11 inches. What I forgot to take into consideration was the 3/4 inches, 3/4 of an inch that I'm going to need for the cross pieces. So what I'm going to have to do is take this down 3/4 of an inch and put it on the bottom. So, because there's a glue edge on the bottom of that that's left over on the bottom of that strip, I'm going to just do something a little bit different just to get that, instead of trying to get rid of all that glue, which would be a real pain, it's going to bevel the edge. So when it goes in against there, that won't be an issue. Well, today's stain day. We're going to get everything stained up and finished up today. Then we can start assembling, putting everything together. I always have had a problem finishing projects, especially ones that are going to be furniture pieces or things like that, because I never know the right colors, the right stains, the right textures, any of that. I've always kind of struggled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stain this with tung oil. And I'm going to show you what I did. So I kept some old pieces that I cut off and sanded them up, and I used that Minwax on this piece here. It doesn't look too bad. I don't mind the way it looks, but I'll explain to you why I'm not going to go with that one after. I used this one here with this color here. You can see it kind of more or less just gave it a gray hue. Might be hard to tell on the camera. This one here, same thing, just gave it a bit of a gray tint more than anything. And this is the tongue oil. And that's what it looks like before and after. The reason why I'm going to go with the tongue oil, because I did this out of pallet wood and kind of scrap wood to highlight the different species colors of the wood that I had. So it'll be kind of like a puzzle piece. I think my daughter will appreciate that a little more. Just it's more kind of chaotic, kind of like her. So, you know, the stains, the brown, the colors, will make everything kind of one color, which I didn't really want. If I wanted to do that, I would have went with different type of wood and just used one type of wood, and it would have been like a million times easier than doing what I did. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to do the tongue oil, and I'm going to do 2 coats of it. So you basically just brush it on, wipe it off, and in 24 hours, brush it on and wipe it off again. That's pretty much it, and it's done, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so what I've got the foam brush, the tongue oil, mix it up, and basically got a bunch of rags cut up, ready to go. So that's what I got. I think it actually looks pretty decent. Like I said. Don't mind that at all. The only thing I do not like I said, is that stupid wood filler I used. Should have made it darker. But oh well. Lessons learned. Okay, well, now it's time to mount the hardware to get everything to fit together. Now this is going to be, again, one of those ones where I just don't like doing it. It's painful and you can mess it up. But anyways, this is how it's going to go. So you want it, this is going to be the top up, bottom down. So you want it to lock in from the top. So you want it to be even like this here. And I'm basically just going to eyeball it. Gonna put the bottom of this here bracket to the bottom of the board. That way I know everything's sitting flush on the bottom. And I'm gonna move it up so the bracket locks in place. So that's exactly how it's gonna lock. So I think that's gonna be good right there. This here's how that bracket goes. It's like this here. So this goes in, so on that end, it goes in, slides in, locks into place. Problem is that there's a little bit, this piece here is just a little bit too far out. So I'm gonna have to cut that off. And then of course, because this bracket will sit further back than I planned, I have to notch it a little bit further. So that's what I'm gonna do. This little piece here, this here is actually gonna sit flush on here. I don't know if you can see that. Flush, not out like I thought it was going to. It's gonna sit like this. So what I'm gonna have to do is just cut this piece off because that's gonna sit over top like this. And of course, my notch that I did also isn't quite big enough. So I'm gonna have to do that or notch out this metal bracket. Haven't decided which one I'm gonna do yet. Okay, well today I'm going to be putting the slats on the bed, basically finishing the thing off the slats, the center support with the legs, and I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. So that's it. I know I kind of missed doing a fair bit of that hardware for mounting because it was just being a pain and too much, and I just went through it. But you can see it's all mounted, and it's all pretty square, so it looks pretty decent. So I'm going to get at the slats and show you as I go. Okay, got the slats cut out, just going to get them all laid in here. And got a notch out for the bracket, which is pretty straightforward. You can see the two end pieces there. I did notch them out a bit, maybe a little bit bigger than I needed to be, but still gonna be plenty strong enough. Because we're short. Shocker. Alright. So I'm just going to mark this centerpiece just so that I don't have to mess around with it on the top. So that's where I know the centerpiece is going to be. So I can put my support in the middle there. So like I said, I had these legs that I got off Amazon. They worked really well on the other bed I had. And I have one left over. So it's a little short, but I'm just going to put a block in just to make it the same height as the rest of these other two. Pretty good. So I'm going to slide it underneath the bed, and then I'll bolt it in place, and that'll be it. And there you have it. Bed frame complete. So that is the whole thing. Complete and done. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.